Brother, your biggest battle isn't against the world. It's against your fear of change. Because the truth is, growth is hard and not particularly comfortable. But part of you has to die in order for the rest of you to live. So let the old you go.
Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's just as true as in boxing as it is in life. You can set all the goals and make all the plans you want, but sometimes you're going to get punched in the face. You can dream up what the future look like, then you just get punched in the face. But the difference between getting knocked out and being able to keep fighting is how focused you are on the next step towards your goals.
You have to be crazy enough to think it's possible. That's how you're gonna beat the odds. Because those who believe win.
What if I'm so far away from my dream now that I die before I actually reach it? Die on the road. Die on the road.
How much longer are you going to avoid what you are capable of doing in order to continue with what you are comfortable doing? And I just let that sit. And then let them reflect on that question. Because it could be the very thing they need to realize it's them stopping them.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but quit letting who you were talk you out of who you're becoming. Because you're not that same person anymore. You've grown, you've healed, you've learned. But sometimes the old version of you still tries to whisper, reminding you of your failures, your mistakes, and your fears. Don't listen, because that voice doesn't belong to who you are now. You've worked way too hard to let your past hold the pen to your future. It's time to silence the old you and walk boldly into who you're becoming.
What a privilege to be tired from the work you once begged the universe for. What a privilege to feel overwhelmed by growth you used to dream about. What a privilege to be challenged by a life you created on purpose.
I am no longer going to be watching any football, and I'm no longer going to have Netflix at all. And that is what I'm giving up for 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's what I'm sacrificing. And I think a lot of people create these to-do lists when, in my experience, it's been so much more useful to write down all the things that I'm willing to sacrifice. Because if you sacrifice everything, there's nothing left than to do the one thing that matters. Most of everyone who's listening to this who isn't achieving what they want is with their time. They think that they're spending all their time working, but you don't even know how to work. I'm being really real with you. Like, you think you know how to work, you don't know how to work. And I'll measure this by, like, what is your output? It's probably not as high as you think. And so rather than trying to learn all these productivity hacks, the ultimate productivity hack is no. N-O.
Where would you be if you observed and judged your own behavior the exact same way that you observe and judge other people's behavior? They watch people do things and they're like, why do they act that way? Why do they make those decisions? Do you ever stop to ask yourself those questions? What if you gave yourself the criticism that you so easily dish out to other people? You got no problem being the armchair quarterback of everyone else's day-to-day lives, but you don't stop to look yourself in the mirror. If you questioned your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own decisions, just like you do everyone else, I guarantee you're going to find a lot of problems that you're going to want to solve. Problems that if you solved them, you could change your whole life. And you're never going to figure any of that out if your eyes are on everyone else. You're going to spend your whole life focusing on problems that you can't solve.
At a point, you just have to start doing it for a love of the game. I've said this many times before. Living a life of fulfillment and purpose is war. And to be more specific, spiritual war. But also, it doesn't mean it has to be this dreadful thing. Like, yeah, it can certainly be treacherous, there's no doubting that. But there's also kind of a beauty there. Something like a dance or a hauntingly beautiful poem. So like, yeah, it can be hard sometimes, but now such a statement seems so shallow.
If you're listening to me right now and you hear these words and you're somebody that struggles with self-doubt or imposter syndrome, I'm going to tell you something. The research about confidence is very clear that confidence isn't a feeling. You don't feel confident. Confidence, the definition I want you to really embrace and live by, is the willingness to try. Because every time you try, especially in the face of doubt, you are displaying that you believe in your ability to survive whatever happens next. And so it's in the trying that you show yourself that you are capable of trying something and failing. And what makes you feel full of doubt and imposter syndrome is that you sit in your head and tell yourself you can't. And every day that you wake up and you don't do the thing, whether it's going to the gym or asking that person out, stop doing that. Stop. And the second that you take action in a different direction, you start to see yourself differently.
Insert emotion. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm whatever. I was like, if you weren't, I'd be worried about you. Because this is a serious commitment. And so the fact that you're nervous or the fact that you're afraid makes you just like everyone else who succeeds. But you know what you have in common with a lot of people that absolutely change their lives? They say the same thing. Do you associate this negative feeling with being the successful person they want to be?
That's not an easy task because we all are trying to be something, but we already are that something we're trying to be. That doesn't mean you can't be better, but it's like accepting and appreciating what you really are, and instead of projecting, something else, takes a lot of pain out of your body to take, gets a lot of fears to just disappear. And I don't have an easy path for that. I think it's the hero's journey. What is it? Your life is ordinary and everything seems fine, and then something hits you and it's the call to adventure. It doesn't feel like a call. It feels like somebody in your family's got cancer. It feels like, COVID and somebody shut down your business, or, some issue that's happening in a relationship with your kids. But if you take the call and you go on the journey, you're gonna meet some new friends, you're gonna find some new mentors, you're gonna battle with internal things within you and external things. But if you keep going, you're gonna eventually slay your dragons and you come out and the hero of your own life and you have something to share. It's not something you read somewhere, it's something you've lived. It makes life really, really beautiful.
Becoming closer to your vision, becoming the person that you strive to be, does not demand perfection, but rather the persistent and pure desire for better and for good. It's easy for us to get hyper-fixated on not making a mistake or not making a wrong turn. And we start to overanalyze and paralyze ourselves with fear or doubt. It makes us hesitant in the way we pursue action. And hesitancy is not good. These mistakes, these failures, these wrong turns ultimately do not matter. The only thing that is demanded of you in order to make the changes that you want to make is the pure and persistent desire to be better and to be good. And this, paired with time, anything can be.
You see this? An hourglass. It's a perfect reminder of how time flows. The sand at the top, that's the future, completely out of your control. Sand at the bottom, that's the past, already gone. But this, the flow in the middle, that's the present, and that is where life happens. You can't speed it up, you can't slow it down. All you can do is focus on this moment.
One of the things that I'd like to teach people when there's a problem, and we all have problems, not all of us can deal with the world and war, but we can deal with our own problems. When a problem comes up, one of the best things to say is, all is well, everything is working out for my highest good, and out of this situation, this so-called problem, only good will come, and I am safe. And this is something that's very powerful. All is well, everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this experience, only good will come, and I am safe. And what that does, it quiets your mind down.
You cannot grow. You cannot mature. You cannot get better. You can't become anything of value to yourself or to anyone else if you shut the door to regrets. Now, you don't let regrets drag you down. You don't let them destroy you.
All right, I've talked about this before. You don't let the man that you used to be destroy the man that you are today or the man that you're trying to be today. All right? But balanced regret is what helps you become a better man. Unbalanced guilt is what destroys you. Unbalanced guilt of who you were and what you were in the past or today destroys you. Balanced, open-eyed, thoughtful regret of poor decisions you made in the past is what helps you build and become better and become stronger. That is that check valve that helps you not make that decision again.
Make a promise and keep it every single day of your life, and you will no longer be afraid of yourself. The fear only comes from uncertainty, and if you don't know what to expect from you, that's what gets you in trouble. If you're a thoughtful person with strong intention, it probably feels like everyone's against you, so you better get on your own team so you don't feel alone. When you're on your own team, keeping the promises, you will sacrifice a lot. But I will tell you from experience that the sacrifice is worth every single moment once you realize you don't have to bear the emptiness that consumes all too much of this world.
What kind of permission do you need to do the thing that you and I both know you really want to do? The thing that not everyone is going to approve of, but you know you're meant to do? What kind of permission do you need to get up and get after it? Yes, there's some risk, mostly just a bruised ego, but you know what's a hell of a lot worse than that? Living with the regret of inaction. Knowing the thing that you need to do, the scary steps that you have to take to grow into the person that you know you want to be, and doing nothing. So if you need it, this is your permission slip. Go do what you need to do.
It says life is not linear, it's cyclical. Accepting this allows us to flow with the process instead of resisting it, like we just said. Understand that life is cyclical. You are going to move in cycles as an individual, right? So don't get so emotionally attached to the seasons where everything feels good that you think that that's how your whole life should be forever. Because the moment it isn't that, you're gonna feel like everything's hitting the fan. Something's wrong, you're doing something wrong. You're gonna internalize that and identify with that. Just because you don't feel good doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Just because things are difficult does not mean you're going the wrong direction. No, it's a part of moving in the right direction, and you have to be willing to embrace those times. Understanding they're serving a greater purpose. You have to remind yourself of this. Understand it is serving a greater purpose. This is part of the journey, and it will not last forever.
And so many people, they need to have a 5K, a 10K. I need to have a course in front of me. I need to have something in front of me for me to get my fucking ass up and do some shit. And that used to be me. And nowadays, you know, for past 20-something years, I don't need a purpose. And people missed out on this, man. The purpose, we're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? Motherfucker, the purpose is you.
This worrying thing, it's the one part of my life that if I could go back, I would fix. Even the things I've worried about in my life, when they actually happened, they weren't as bad in my body and in my mind as they were when I was worrying about them. And when you worry about it, you experience it hundreds of times. Your mind doesn't know the difference between this thing you think is gonna happen and something that really happens. And so the turmoil you're putting your body through and the debilitating effect it's having on your current circumstances, I actually believe that this is one of the most debilitating things you can do for your physical health, not just your mental health. And when it happens, interrupt the pattern, go change your physiology, do something to change your state. It's taking everything from your life, taking your joy, your passion, your peace, your energy, your focus, your determination, your resourcefulness. So please stop. And I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you. Give yourself a gift of controlling that imagination of yours, that beautiful mind of yours. Sometimes it's not about the things you need to do that make us successful. It's the things we need to stop doing that hold us back.
But I'll tell you right now, those weak habits, they gotta break. Your mindset has to be reshaped. You have to believe the odds are beatable, even when people say it's impossible. That's what I call faith. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what it's gonna take. 24/7, 365, you gotta live it, breathe it, be it every single day. You got a conquering challenge that gets in the way, and remember, it's more about what you do and less about what you say. So if your life couldn't say one word, what would your life speak? Would it still say you about that life? Would it still say you about conquering your struggle, creating new peaks? Would it still say you about getting the most out of your life? Every moment matters, especially when you realize over 150,000 people die every night. That's 55 million people a year. Ain't none of this promised. Ain't none of this guaranteed. So the question I'll leave you with is this. When you fight your last fight, when you breathe your last breath, if this was your last year, what's the legacy that you gonna leave? Get up and go live your dreams. Make the world respect your greatness. Make this year your year. It all starts with you.
I was poor because I didn't have anything. I had no money, I had no things, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids. But I was rich because I had a dream of becoming the greatest bodybuilder, but I had no idea that it would go as far as it did.
I'm here to talk about success. The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere. I mean, as you know, I was born in 1947 in Austria after the Second World War. So I was very fortunate that I stumbled onto my vision. And I didn't really like Austria when I grew up. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I couldn't see myself becoming a farmer or a worker in a factory or anything like that. Even though my parents wanted me to stay there and have a normal life. But that was their vision, not mine. My vision was totally different. I felt that I was born for something special, for something unique, for something big. Never ever think small. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to think big. You have to go and shoot for the stars. The biggest challenge most people have is because they think small. And the reason why people think small and why they choose small little goals is because they're afraid to fail. They know that if you shoot for a big goal, then the chances of failing are very high. And they're afraid of failing. It's one of the most common things why people are frozen and why they can't make a move in life, because they're scared of failing. I say to myself, hey, I'm not worried about failing because that's part of life. You're not gonna go and win everything. And how far can you fall? Look at this is the ground. That's as far as I can fall. And you know something? That the only time you really consider the failure is if you fall and you don't get up. Everyone has a problem with time. But the day is 24 hours and we sleep 6. Now I know there's some out there that say, whoa, I need 8. Well, I say just sleep a little faster. Because the bottom line is we have 6 hours of sleep, 24 hours are available, so you have 18 hours now available to your work, your family, your hobbies, and also to learn something new. I went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day. And I was working on construction. Because in those days in bodybuilding, there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything. So I had to go to work. So I worked in construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym, and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight, I went to acting class 4 times a week. So I did all of that. There was not one single minute that I wasted. And this is why I'm standing here today. People always come up to me and says, why are you smiling? You're working out 5 hours a day. You're doing the same as the other guys, but the other guys have a sour face. They're pissed off that they have to do another rep or another set or something. I looked forward to another 1,000 reps of sit-ups. I looked forward to another 500 pounds of leg press or squat. I looked forward to doing more and more curls until my arms fall off. Why? Because I knew that every rep that I did, and every set that I did, and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision into reality. So I was turned on by that. I was excited. I couldn't wait to get to the gym. Training is part of my life. It's simple. Nothing will ever change, and I will be working out till I die. And Muhammad Ali worked his butt off. And I saw it firsthand. And I remember that there was a sports writer that was there in the gym when he was working out and he was doing sit-ups. And they asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts. Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain. That's when he starts counting. That is working hard. And so you can't get around the hard work. It doesn't matter who it is. Work your ass off. There is no magic pill. There is no magic out there. You cannot get around. You have to work and work and work. Make sure of this and make sure of that and all that stuff. So it's work. Give it up. Give up that war. You know the war that you have to really fight is the war against yourself. You have to fight a war against yourself. And it is not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable. Good, because discomfort is how we grow. That's how we become strong. If you run away from discomfort and resistance your whole life, you will always be weak.
Remember one thing, through every dark night, there's a bright day after that.
Along the way, you're going to need to do things you don't want to do or might not think you can do. It's okay to be scared. It's natural to doubt yourself. But if you can push through that and do what needs to be done, you'll do just fine.
Here's a simple rule. Never, ever, ever let your mood dictate what you do. You have to take action first because movement changes your mood. If you want to be an author, write. And when you're done writing, your mood will be amazing. If you want to be healthier, exercise. And your mood after you move will feel incredible. Do not let the mood you're in now dictate what you do next. Act like the person you want to become. And when you start taking those actions and you start moving in the direction of your dreams and the things that you want and deserve in life, your mood will follow. It'll feel great. And you, my friend, will be getting it done.
Discipline acknowledges your feelings, but does not act on them. Discipline acknowledges that you do not want to put in the work, but you do it anyways. If you live your life off the fuel of motivation, you will run out and you will fail. But if you go off of discipline, you will always push forward. Discipline does what's required despite how you feel.
Everybody tells you when you get knocked out, stand right back up. Don't let them see you knocked out. I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree with that. Because if you stand up, you're gonna stand up the same individual that got knocked, the same way you got knocked out. You're the exact same person. Stay down there. Understand why you got knocked out, why you're down there. So when you stand up, there's something different about you. When you get knocked out, and you are gonna get knocked out, when you stand up stronger.
You get knocked down again, stay down there. When you stand up, you're gonna stand up with more talent. You're gonna get knocked down again, stay down there. You're gonna be more intelligent, you're gonna be more resilient. Every time you get knocked down, there has to be a different, better version of you standing up. Otherwise, you're gonna keep getting knocked down.
Being a winner is a curse. It doesn't matter how much you've won before, you're not a winner until you win again and again and again. Nothing is enough. No one understands. And you never want it to stop.
Go all out, find a way to win. In spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures, fail your way to success. His life knocks you down trying to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Fear establishes the boundaries of our freedom. So whatever you're afraid of, that becomes your limitation. If you're afraid of heights, you stay low. If you're afraid of people, you stay alone. If you're afraid of failure, you stay safe. And when you realize fear establishes the boundaries of your freedom, the moment you press through those fears, now you have unlimited freedom.
You know, knowing that you put the work in and have the confidence to let it show. What I tell people is just be the best version of yourself in anything that you do. You don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites, but the truth is you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but an undying passion for what you do or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful.
There's a lot of talk every day about conspiracy theories and about things that are floating around, and you know what's not a conspiracy theory? You. You know what's not a conspiracy theory? Your life. You know what doesn't need to be negotiated amongst the news and people and peers is your vision, your heart, your soul, your family. Focus at home. Don't worry about what's floating around in the media and who says this and who says what. Pay attention, see what they say, but realize something. Your life is not a conspiracy theory. Focus on that. Focus on your family. Focus on your goals. Focus on your vision. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of chatter. One of the best places that you can spend your time, energy, bandwidth, heart, and soul is within the four walls of your own home.
You need to understand, like, everything in life and initially feels like bad reinforcement. You start going to the gym, you feel weak in order to become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't understand, you feel stupid in order to become smart. The process of discomfort is inevitable. You have to go through it. Most people have that initial feeling, that initial lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that they have to be humbled first in every aspect in order to grow. You need to go through that parallel problem solving, you solve it, and then you get the reward.
None of us know what will happen. We can't predict how this journey will turn out to be. If you're finding it hard to imagine a future better than you have right now, just know that you're not alone. Sometimes we all feel stuck, afraid, overwhelmed, and lost. But regardless, we always find a way and carry on. Don't forget how you made it here. You overcame every challenge you ever faced, and I know you'll make it through this too.
I think the first thing a person needs is they need a dream. You gotta have a dream. I don't know how people survive in life with any kind of peace or happiness or fulfillment without having a dream. A dream needs to be something that there is a possibility of fulfilling. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. You know, the saying is that If your dreams don't scare you to death, they're not big enough. Your dream needs to be bigger than you are right now.
There's a specific person that you've got to get out of your life right now. It's the person that wants to remind you of who you were. It's the person who wants to remind you of how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That used to person's dead. Anybody who wants to resurrect that person cannot be in your life. There is nothing more important than getting people out of your life that want to pretend you're the person you were yesterday. They want to act like you're the person you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're growing, you're advancing. You need to be focused on you right now, and anybody that wants to bring you back, anybody that wants to pretend you are the same person that they knew 1, 2, 6, 7 years ago, get them the hell out of your life.
Trajectory. Focus on your trajectory. You can't keep living in this all or nothing mentality where you have to do the perfect set of perfect things in the perfect order, just like that guy you follow on Instagram does. That guy's full-time job is personal development. He gets paid to sit in a cold plunge. You don't. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up. So if you have that all or nothing mentality, when it's not all, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be the guy that gets one flat tire and then gets out of his car and slashes the other 3 simply because he doesn't have 4 perfectly inflated tires. Makes no sense. The measuring stick is not, am I perfect? The measuring stick is, did I get closer to who I want to be, or did I get further away? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Focus on path over perfection.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea.
What if problems were always gifts? What if every single problem really was a gift in your life? What if every problem you ever had was life happening for you, not to you? What if everything in our lives was guided? What if everything in our life was divine timing? Everything, even the pain.
What are you gonna do when no one's watching? Are you gonna operate to your standard, or are you gonna cut corners? I can tell you this, dude. I try very fucking hard to operate in my standard all the time, 24 hours a day, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when you actually gain more of the discipline and strength that you need to uphold those standards. I think every single fucking human should have a set of core values and a mission statement and a vision for their own lives. And most people don't. Most people just go along with the flow. They swing into someone else's vision and they stay there for a little bit, and they swing into someone else's for a little bit. And then they get to be older in life and they're like, why the f has nothing worked out for me? Well, the reason nothing's worked out for you is because you don't live what you say you're about. You don't have a plan for yourself. You don't have a mission statement for yourself. You try to cut the corners when no one's watching. Bro, you'll lose that way. That's just it.
It's always harder, takes longer, and costs more than you think it will. It makes sense because if it did it, then everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. And so if it's hard, that's amazing because it will make you that much harder once you conquer it. And it will also make it harder for anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps. And so the higher up the mountain you climb, the thinner the air gets. And the rarer the climber or explorer must be in order to get there.
If you can survive temporary pain, on the other side of temporary pain, you will meet another version of you. Every time I wanted to quit, I didn't make a decision to not quit the rest of my life. I made a decision not to quit for one more day. One more day, just don't quit. One more day, hang up.
People who win are disciplined about winning. They don't just casually take a look at this. They don't just casually try something. They jump in with both feet because they absolutely intend to win at it. And that's going to require discipline and consistency on your part. As you start to study, you're going to learn things. You're going to learn the skills that you need. That's going to require discipline on your part. All of which, by the way, you can learn any of these skills. You can learn anything, but you're going to have to be disciplined.
there's this revered master who everybody wants to study under, and it's almost impossible to get to him. And so he's interviewing candidates, and the aspiring samurai comes to him and says, "How long will it take me to be a master?" And he says, 10 years. And so then the young samurai, eager to kind of prove himself, he's like, well, what if I work twice as hard and I work day and night to become a master? How long will it take then? And so the master sits back and looks at him and says, 20 years. The young samurai is like, wait, what? How can it take twice as long if I'm working harder? The master replies, if you have one eye fixed on your destination, then you only have one eye left to find your way.
But I think what's truly important is the ability to detach yourself from the outcome. It is one of the most important things that I have adopted in my life. Set the goal, know where you want to go, know where you're aiming, and then let it go. It's possible, in fact, it's probable and likely it might take you longer to get there. And so what if it does? If it does, you're still making forward progress every single day.
It's really important that we understand that better is not always visible. You can be getting better and it not be public, because very often private victories will precede public accomplishments.
Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn. You know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
You need discipline. You need personal discipline. There's times when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done to get this. But you got to say, feelings has nothing to do with it. This is my dream. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the things that I don't feel like doing. I'm going to do the things I don't want to do. I'm going to do the things that don't come easy to me, that do not come natural to me. I'm going to get up and do it. You can't live your life on feelings.
Loneliness. It's a feeling we all experience, though it's rarely something we talk about. When it creeps in, it can feel overwhelming, suffocating even, as though you've been cast aside, forgotten, or left to face the world alone. But here's a thought. What if loneliness wasn't something to run from? What if instead it held the keys to a deeper understanding of yourself? Loneliness is often misunderstood. It's painted as emptiness, as a void that needs to be filled with people, noise, or distractions. In reality, loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. And in a world that's always pulling you in a million directions, solitude is a rare and powerful thing. We live in a culture that glorifies being busy, being surrounded, being plugged in. We equate a full social calendar or an endless stream of notifications with a full life. And when that quiet moment comes, when the noise fades and the distractions stop, loneliness feels like failure, as if being alone somehow makes you incomplete. That's the misconception. Loneliness isn't about what's missing outside of you. It's about what you have yet to find within yourself. When everything else is stripped away, when the spotlight dims and the crowd disperses, you're left with the one person who will always be with you, yourself. And that's where the real work begins. There's a reason so many of life's breakthroughs happen in the quiet. When you're alone, you're forced to face the parts of yourself that are often buried under the noise, the insecurities you try to ignore, the dreams you've been too afraid to pursue, the questions you've been too distracted to answer. Solitude gives you the space to reflect, to feel, to grow. It's in those quiet moments that you start to see yourself more clearly. not the version of you that you present to the world, but the real you, the one with doubts and fears and flaws, but also strength and resilience and untapped potential. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when you're surrounded by constant validation or external noise. It happens when you're willing to sit with yourself, to embrace the discomfort of being alone, and to use it as a chance to understand who you are and what you want. Silence has a way of bringing clarity, of stripping away the distractions and revealing what truly matters. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts without interference. You can tune into the voice inside you, the one that gets drowned out in the chaos of daily life. What is that voice telling you? What dreams have you put on hold? What truths have you been avoiding? Loneliness doesn't just leave you with questions. It gives you the space to find answers. And those answers, they're the foundation for the life you're meant to create. Instead of seeing loneliness as a problem to solve, try seeing it as a tool to use. Use it to reconnect with yourself.
The ability to be comfortable in your own company is a rare and powerful thing. It means you're not afraid of the quiet, of the stillness, of the moments when it's just you and your thoughts. It means you've built a foundation within yourself that doesn't crumble when the world around you shifts. When you learn to value your own company, loneliness stops feeling like a burden. It becomes a choice, a time to recharge, to reflect, to reconnect. It becomes a reminder that you are enough, exactly as you are. Here's the reality. The time you spend alone is never wasted. It's where the most important growth happens. It's where you learn what you stand for, what you value, and what kind of life you want to build. Loneliness can be painful, yes, but it can also be transformative. It can teach you resilience. It can help you find clarity. It can show you that your strength doesn't come from the people around you. It comes from within. If you're feeling lonely right now, don't run from it. Sit with it. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to reflect, to reconnect with the person you're becoming. This is your time to build something extraordinary, not outside of you, but within you. Loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the space where you rediscover yourself. And in that space, you'll find everything you've been looking for.
It's so easy to lose ourselves in the midst of a storm, especially when it feels like we haven't seen a sunny day in months. And we think because this storm is so powerful that all of our dreams are going to be washed away with it. But what if the storm looked at you and said, if you stay true, what's for you will find you?
This is the comeback. Maybe you're in a rut, maybe you've just experienced failure, or maybe you're just lost. But this is the part in your story where the momentum shifts. This is where you find the drive that you've been looking for. It is now. This is the start of your comeback. The vision that you have for your future, everything you so desire, is begging you to pick yourself up and begin your journey, because the window is closing. And if you pass this one up, you very well may solidify your eternal existence within the dreadful cycle of stagnation.
When you find that sense of purpose, when you find what I call your life's task, everything has a direction, everything has a purpose, your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that could ever happen to you, because you never have that lost feeling. You wake up in the morning and you go, yeah, this is what I need to accomplish. People come at you with all kinds of distractions and boring and irritating things, you're able to cut it out. It's just the most marvelous piece of internal radar that you can have. So I genuinely wish that everybody can find that kind of internal radar.
You are the creator. You are creating every aspect of your life. You're creating time, you're creating memories, you're creating bad habits, you're creating good habits, you're creating good relationships, you're creating bad relationships. You're creating everything. You're creating things that you don't like, you're creating things that you love. You are a creative being, and you need to be continuously creating in order to maintain momentum and energy.
The undisputed first law of personal growth is this: that people will never rise above the opinion of themselves. And when we commit to self-mastery, we give ourselves the best shot at becoming the best and greatest versions of ourselves that we can be. And then we get to become the example and the invitation to others. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
You know, in this life, in your own personal journey, you're gonna go through so many ups and downs, ebbs and flows, twists and turns. And it's so important to just embrace them all with an open mind and an open heart, you know, and understand that, you know, you're in a constant state of evolution and growth. And growth sometimes is amazing and it feels great and it's beautiful. And on the other end, growth sometimes is also incredibly painful and uncomfortable. And it's the ability to be able to embrace all those seasons, all those facets, understanding that through it all, you're growing and it's all serving a greater purpose.
Forward is progress. They all matter. Don't fall into the trap of comparison. If 6 months slip by without you achieving your goals, it's okay. As long as you're here, time is your ally. You are enough. You are deserving. You are capable. Life isn't a race. Your journey matters. You'll get there when you get there.
Your life and the journey you put yourself through, there's nothing more than that. And that's all I want people to do, is realize that you have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. Bigger the suffering, the more peace.
I really hope that you know that you are going to overcome the things that feel impossible to forget. Because here's the thing. Very soon, you are going to start making new, beautiful memories that are going to find a home in that place in you that's empty right now. And I also hope that you know that what is coming for you is going to be way better and way more amazing than what's left and what's gone.
You can reinvent and rebuild and rethink what you're going to do next any moment you choose. You're not too old, you're not too young, you're not too late. You need new goals. When you've been at this for a while, the goals that you had a decade ago are not the goals and the things that are going to motivate you right now. So instead of beating yourself up for not achieving those goals, why don't you flip your attitude and say to yourself, maybe those goals weren't the ones that are meant for you. What is it that you want in this moment of your life?
Why is it that we need to run from the chaos? Why is it that we need to run from the pain? Why is it that we want to run away from the things that hurt our feelings or hurt us inside or scare us? Why are we trying to run away from that stuff? Because we both know that our biggest lessons, your biggest lessons that you've ever experienced in life have come from the darkest times. You ever notice that, like, we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to keep ourselves out of trouble and keep ourselves away from the pain and away from the darkness, yet that is actually where the gift lies, is inside those places.
When you're at your lowest, you realize a lot. Everything is raw. Everything is simplified. It feels like everything's been lost, and all that you're left with is the foundation of you. But these are the perfect ingredients for a rebirth and a rebuild. You may not realize it now, but you're gonna look back and realize that rock bottom
gave you the gift of being able to start over. And not many people get that gift. The pages are blank, and you are the author.
Today, I want to talk about the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. The power to never give up. Life, as we know it, is a series of peaks and valleys, highs and lows, victories and setbacks. It's a journey that tests our limits, challenges our resolve, and demands resilience. Imagine you are on a path towards your greatest dream. You can see it in the distance, but the journey is fraught with obstacles. There are moments when the path seems impossible to traverse, where the challenges feel insurmountable, and the temptation to quit looms large. It's in these moments, my friends, where your true character is forged. Every setback, every failure, every hurdle is not a roadblock, but a stepping stone. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger.
The thing is that people, maybe it's you, are waiting for this perfect moment, but it doesn't come. It happens the moment you decide that you're fed up with waiting and decide to take action. And it only becomes the perfect moment when you look back on it.
When you want more for yourself, when you want more out of life, when you want more success, when you want more wins, everyone thinks they gotta add more. To get more, you need to add more. Well, let me tell you something. The more you want to achieve, it's not always about the addition. It's more about the subtraction. It's more about the delete.
Every single person that's ever been successful, every single person that's ever made something of themselves has at one point or another made a mistake. They've done something wrong. They've fallen off the path. And I'm sure you have too. But what makes those people exceptional, what separates those people from everyone else, is when they make a mistake, when they make an error, when they do something wrong, they recognize that they did it, they admit that they did it, and they get back on the right path.
When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. Recall the passion that ignited your journey, the dreams that fuel your ambition. Success is not reserved for the chosen few. It's for those who are relentless, who persevere despite the odds, who refuse to accept defeat. Look at the great achievers in history, from athletes who have overcome injuries to win championships, to scientists who have defied conventional wisdom to make groundbreaking discoveries. Their common thread is not extraordinary talent, but extraordinary perseverance. You are capable of achieving greatness. The road may be long and the challenges may be many, but your determination can conquer them all. Embrace the difficulties, for they are the fires that temper the steel of your spirit. Let every failure be a lesson, every setback a setup for a comeback, and every doubt a fuel for your drive. Believe in yourself, even when it seems no one else does. Trust that you have within you the strength, the courage, and the resilience to achieve your dreams. Remember that quitting is never an option. It's just a detour that leads you away from your destiny. So, stand tall in the face of adversity. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and never, ever give up. Your perseverance will pave the way to your success. Your journey may be tough, but the reward will be worth it. You are unstoppable. You are resilient. You are destined for greatness.
You can change your life just by making the decision to do so. Make the choice to surround yourself with people who take action and set high standards. Choose to be better. The first step to changing your life starts with a single choice. Let that decision ignite a series of actions, each one a catalyst for massive transformation. In the simplicity of a single choice lies the potential to change your life. Make the right decision. Your future self is counting on you.
Happiness is not a byproduct of ease. Happiness is a byproduct of struggle, intensity, consistency, discipline, doing hard things on a regular basis. I've said this before, every single thing you want in life is on the other side of something that sucks, of hundreds of things that suck. So the willingness to endure that struggle every single day and understand that it's an act of service for your future self and for the future that you're trying to build, that is how you build durable, lasting, sustainable happiness.
In time, you will realize that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. The timing of events, the doors that closed, and the ones that never opened were all part of a greater plan.
The tragedy, the moments of despair, the times in your life when it seemed like everything was against you. These are not happenings of mere coincidence. This is much more personal than that. You were under attack by an evil force that was sent to defeat you, to dishearten you, to strip you of your faith. What does that mean to you? That this force has inflicted harm upon you, like a middle school bully pushing their target to the ground. What will you do? Will you get back up? Will you push back? Or will you lie there on the floor to be mocked and pitied? But do not forget that you possess an energy far greater than any, as it is the origin of all that exists, including evil.